Now we'll move on to our next session, which is Greg L. Semenza session. Greg L. Semenza won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2019 for the discoveries of how cells sense and adapt to oxygen availability. And for this session, we have the chairperson with us, Dr. Gaurav Chaya from Ahmedabad and Dr. Vipul Srivastav sir from Ahmedabad. I request them to introduce our panelists. Dr. Vipul Srivastav sir, can you please introduce the panelist?
Can you start video of us if you don't mind?
You can please.
No, it's not coming. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Vipul sir, even you need to unmute your mic.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, Vipul sir, you
Good
can
evening.
start.
Yes. Good evening. The first talk is by Dr. Sanjeev. He is, just a minute. It is on dapagliflozin, which is an SGL2 inhibitor. I'm sorry, I'm having some network issues.
Yes, sir. The topic is on dapagliflozin, a new dawn in diabetes management. And we have Dr. Sanjeev Shah, sir. He's a senior consultant endocrinologist and diabetologist and from Institute Apollo Sugar Clinic. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Shah, sir, for being there. And thank you, Vipul, sir, Gaurav, sir.
Dear friends, I am going to talk on a new dawn in diabetes management with dapagliflozin. With the beginning of 2021, there is a new sunrise, a new day, new thoughts, and there is a new strength in the management of diabetes with new possibilities. With the beginning of this year, dapagliflozin has gone into a new price structure, which changes the way we manage diabetes, and it allows us to create a first choice in selection of an anti-diabetic agent. This is backed by a tremendous strong evidence with 3 major trials called DECLARE-TIMI 58, DAPA heart failure, and DAPA CKD. Right at this stage, when a drug is relatively new, the trials are fresh, evidence is new. You have a most potent glucosuric agent with unparalleled cardiac protection and renal protection being proved as a class agent, and at this price, which is called an Indian price, which is matching with per day treatment cost with DPP-4 inhibitor, sulfonylurea, or alpha glucosidase inhibitor. If we go backwards in the time, what have you done so far? We have used sulfonylurea drug because it was the only available agent. I have used all 6 sulfonylurea agents in different decades. They were the cheapest agent. They were very effective when used initially, but there was always a doubt in relation to glycemic durability over a period of time. Does it cause more apoptosis of beta cell? This was always being questioned over the period of years. And we know in comparison to other class of an agent, there is always an increased risk of hypoglycemia and some weight gain. There were also the doubts created in relation to CV safety and long-term cancer. And we have learned to prescribe mechanically over the years as a preferred agent. Over a decade back, we started using DPP-4 inhibitors, and we used to argue. I put it for comparison for you. DPP-4 inhibitors on the left and SGLT2 inhibitors on the right with all 8 points. You can see that SGLT2 inhibitor is weight loss beneficial. Both drugs cause no hypoglycemia. HbA1c reduction is better than DPP-4 inhibitor with a minor risk of genital infection. But if we look at a renal benefit and cardiovascular benefit, the benefit is far more than the risk of genital infection. And you can use it at any eGFR up to 30. There are emerging data on use between eGFR 20 and 30. A 5 millimeter systolic blood pressure is a very robust reason to prescribe this particular drug. And in both the drugs, you don't need to adjust the dosage of an agent. So these are compelling reasons to select SGLT2 inhibitor compared to DPP4 inhibitor as a second agent. In many occasions, when you have an issue, you give a deep thought, you will be able to use SGLT2 inhibitor as a first agent over and above before you start using metformin. If we look at a comparison with glipizide here in relation to glycemic durability over a period of 4 years, you can see that on the top of metformin, when dapagliflozin is added, it gives you similar result, similar glycemic control, which is sustained till 4 years. So in 2021, dapagliflozin has an edge over all other agents, and I am sure you are going to prescribe much more frequently than before. If we look at the change in HbA1c in relation to glycemic efficacy over different agent comparison, you can see with a baseline A1c of 8% in large majority of the different combination and comparators, you find that A1c reduction is to the tune of 0.9 or 1% at a baseline of 8%. This is slightly more than what you would achieve 0.6 or 0.7 with DPP4 inhibitor. This happens because this class of an agent results into excretion of a glucose to the tune of 80 grams, which is 320 calories or 20% of dietary calories being thrown out of the body, resulting into weight loss and a change in the way hemodynamics change, the metabolism change, and even an effect seen on Ralph D. Franzo's ominous octet also suggests that there is improvement in insulin sensitivity and other mechanisms also improve. The most important is being that this class of an agent has insulin independent action. You do not need to have an adequate insulin. And this particular agent in this trial over 4 years has shown that minimum hypoglycemia. Obviously, we know that this drug doesn't cause any hypoglycemia, and sulfonylureas are known to increase the risk of hypoglycemia. This is what I was talking about, the advantages at multiple mechanisms. So you have an insulin sparing action and a glucose reduction happening. As we see, the additional benefit is in a systolic blood pressure reduction, diastolic blood pressure reduction. So that's an additional benefit because 2/3 of diabetic patients are hypertensive and need to reduce their blood pressure further than what they have. Another additional benefit is the loss of weight achieved, minimum 2 kg or 3 kg in large majority of the patients. If you are using at higher BMI, you are likely to experience a larger weight loss than 3 kg. This all comes with a small increased risk of genital mycotic infection. And as a good physician, you are supposed to advise the patients on improving personal hygiene, adequate hydration that will take care of all increased risk of genital hygiene. Don't worry, you treat genital infection and get the patient back on dapagliflozin. If we look at the situation of a newly diagnosed patients in India, this slide shows that some of the patients already have an abnormal creatinine, proteinuria, and a UKPDS study has shown that there is some degree of neuropathy or retinopathy is observed in newly diagnosed patient. Patient has spent good time prior to diagnosis, and patient also had IGT for sizable period of time. So we are already late to act. We don't have to wait till clinically evident complications appear. We have to act in advance. As we know that 40% of patients with heart failure will have CKD, 20 to 40% of patients with diabetes will have evidence of kidney disease. 2/3 of the patients will develop cardiovascular disease in a lifetime. So diabetes is a condition with extremely high cardiac risk and a renal risk. Once you have diagnosed, don't wait for the treatment or a complication to become clinically apparent. Start thinking using the drug right at the beginning. Now you have new possibilities. A new price is a boon for diabetic people, and you will be able to start right away immediately after lifestyle, and a first agent metformin is in place. Many guidelines, Kidney International in 2020 have recommended SGLT2 inhibitor as the first line agent to be added after metformin. American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists endorsed use of SGLT2 inhibitor as a second line agent. So there is clear-cut recommendation and the guidelines are changing. The benefits on modification of risk factors are many. You have a hemodynamic effect managing and happening through diuresis, glucose excretion, sodium excretion, and elimination of sodium toxicity in myocardium. There are benefits on reduction in preload, afterload, as well as improvement in myocardial function. Ketones being used as a fuel, which is a better fuel than glucose. There is an LV remodeling happening in a chronic hypertensive or chronic diabetic people, in addition to benefit in blood pressure, weight, and preservation of renal function. The decline in EGFR, which happens with diabetes, is eliminated. The first study which came out was a DECLARE TIMI cardiovascular outcome trial, and you distinctly see the superiority. Reduction in MACE point, reduction in heart failure, hospitalization are very well known to you. The most impressive in 1 year we have learned are renal endpoints, which with 40% reduction in EGFR, end-stage renal disease, renal death, and CV death. If you look at all this composite endpoint, there is a 40% risk reduction with dapagliflozin, and this is relatively a recent finding. A new finding was a DAPA heart failure study, and this has been proved in both the class of an agent with reduced ejection fraction and preserved ejection fraction. If we try to highlight on CV death, on heart failure hospitalization, and urgent visit to emergency care for heart failure, you can see on the left there is 25% risk reduction in diabetic people. There is 27% risk reduction even in absence of diabetes. So dapagliflozin has a class effect on LV function when it comes to heart failure, independent of glucose is normal or abnormal or the duration of diabetes. With this kind of a finding of lower risk of worsening of heart failure and better cardiovascular score, this has been put into a recommendation by US FDA as well as Drug Controller of India approved dapagliflozin for heart failure with reduced ejection fraction, and in future you will see the revision of a label also for preserved ejection fraction. We know that diabetic kidney disease is a big challenge in India. Once a kidney disease is diagnosed, patient loses certain years. A microalbuminuria, which is present in 30% of diabetic people, is also considered part of diabetic kidney disease stage 1. And with decline in EGFR, we progress to stage 3. Many of us awaken when EGFR goes below 60. Till that time, when creatinine is moving in a normal range, we do not recognize them as a kidney disease. We should start calculating EGFR at any level of creatinine and recognize that person is moving from 90 to 80, 80 to 70. Right from this stage, these are the predictors of a worsening of renal function. Poor glycemic control, longer duration of diabetes, hypertension if uncontrolled, not treated with a proper drug, presence of retinopathy or family history of kidney or cardiovascular disease. All these people are at high risk and require to be treated with SGLT2 inhibitor. There is a basic mechanism in combination with RAS blockade. You achieve an effect on efferent arteriole as well as efferent arteriole. When both are present, SGLT2 inhibitor, you eliminate and reduce intraglomerular hypertension. This is going to preserve, and as we would see the result of DAPA-CKD published this year, you can see that there is sustained primary outcome is a reduction of EGFR by 50%. That has been found with dapagliflozin. Renal death got reduced, cardiovascular death got reduced. The treatment for dialysis, onset of dialysis or a renal transplantation got reduced with dapagliflozin. So when it comes to treating a diabetic people, your focus should be When you are treating in early years, you are focusing on hypertension, albuminuria, obesity, and uncontrolled diabetes. But when you are treating this, your mind should be focused on secondary prevention, where silently the disease is progressing to a cardiovascular complication or kidney complication. Once there is an albuminuria, there is a high risk of CV disease. There is decline in EGFR, there is a high risk of CV disease. So cardio-renal are in a way linked, and the secondary prevention should start right at this stage. So dapagliflozin has a new place in a treatment algorithm. It should be the second line agent after metformin in patients with established risk factor. If a patient does not tolerate metformin, it could be used as a first agent. It is also an add-on agent on any other background oral agent or on insulin. Patient with or without diabetes and heart failure with other heart disease would also benefit. Patient with reduced EGFR with or without diabetes will also benefit. Dapagliflozin has an ability to reduce HbA1c, glycemic control, weight reduction, systolic BP reduction, and many more other desirable effects, prevention of CV death, prevention of renal death. So in long term, now with Indian price, you should use dapagliflozin more frequently than before. If you do what you did earlier, you get what you got with higher morbidity, higher CV, and renal death. We should treat patients differently with New Dawn. Now there is new possibilities and new algorithm and new way to treat diabetic people. This is my recommendation. Please practice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.